All right, let's dive into a true cautionary tale. We're about to break down a masterclass in what not to do by dissecting one of the most spectacularly fumbled job interviews you've ever heard of.
I mean, this quote just sets the stage perfectly, right? It totally captures that cynical vibe a lot of us feel before walking into that room. But for the guy in our story, this wasn't just another lying contest. Oh no, it was a journey into absolute chaos.
So, let's meet the hero of our story. And like any great adventure, this one kicks off with a call to action. But in this case, the quest isn't for some grand treasure or glory. It's for survival. Because he desperately needs a paycheck.
And you gotta love the self-awareness here. He straight up admits his decision-making skills are, well, questionable at best. So after quitting his first job, he goes on a little spending spree on digital stuff and a single ugly shirt, which leaves him, you guessed it, completely broke. The mission is crystal clear. Get a job and get it fast.
Okay, before we get to the main event, you have to understand the battlefield. See, our narrator doesn't just see job interviews, he sees them as distinct levels of difficulty, almost like a video game, each with its own set of rules.
So you've got this hierarchy, right? Level 1 is the easy stuff, the pulse check at a fast food joint. You're breathing, you're hired. Level 2 gets a bit trickier, with those classic retail questions. But our story today, it takes place in Level 3, the corporate meat grinder. This is a high-end tech store where the stakes are supposed to be much, much higher. So, no hero goes into battle alone, and our narrator is no different. He brings along a sidekick, and together they cook up a plan that is, well, let's just say it was a little out there.
And man, this just perfectly sums up the dynamic. You've got our narrator, the self-proclaimed chimpanzee, teamed up with his friend Billy. Billy operates with this unshakable confidence that nothing can possibly go wrong for him because he thinks he's the main character in a movie, a true force of chaos.
So their plan wasn't just to get a job. Oh no, it was this grand 4-step process to achieve total life fulfillment, and it all hinged on this one single retail interview. I mean, the optimism is kind of amazing, but also completely nuts.
All right, so now we're at the day of the interview. The prep is done, the team is assembled, and it's time to walk into the arena and face the final boss, the hiring manager.
The prep routine starts off pretty standard, a shower, some fancy cologne, but it isn't enough to really build up any confidence. Our narrator says that even though he smelled good, he felt like Thomas the Tank Engine, already starting to waver as they walked into that back office.
And then he sees him. The manager isn't just a person. He's this intimidating physical presence, described with some pretty incredible imagery. This meat mountain immediately makes our narrator's heart drop right into his stomach. Yeah, the intimidation factor, it's through the roof.
So what's he hand this corporate titan for a resume? Just one single piece of paper. And on it, his greatest professional achievement listed is that he only lost one kid at a summer bike camp. He's literally highlighting a failure. Yeah, not exactly a winning strategy.
Okay, this is it. This is the moment. The questions began, and what comes next is just a complete and total system failure.
So the manager throws him the classic, the one question everybody knows is coming. This should be an easy one, a chance to spin a weakness into a strength. But instead, he somehow manages to strike out in the most spectacular way imaginable.
And you can just feel the panic setting in, right? All those prepared answers, gone. He's scrambling, trying to put some professional words together, maybe say perfectionism or something cliche, but his brain just freezes.
And this is the word that comes out. The one-word answer to end all answers. He looks this absolute unit of a man dead in the eye and tells him his greatest weakness is bullets.
Just let that sink in for a second. He's in a high-end tech store, a place for warranties and customer service, and he's basically saying his biggest professional problem is not being bulletproof. The absurdity is just, it's breathtaking.
So after this, deafening silence, the manager, who is probably in a state of shock, turns to Billy. This is it. This is Billy's chance to save the whole thing, to pull this interview back from the brink of insanity.
But of course he doesn't. With absolutely zero hesitation, Billy just confirms his entire worldview. He doesn't need a reason to work there. He's the main character, and things are just going to work out for him. And with that, the fumble is officially complete.
So, after a train wreck of that magnitude, what happens next? What wisdom could you possibly take away from such a complete and total failure?
Well, the outcome was swift and
Pretty much what you'd expect. They were absolutely cooked. The manager just sighed and sent them packing, and their grand 4-step plan for life just completely fell apart right there. So in the end, they walked away with 2 simple yet profound lessons. Number 1, probably never tell a hiring manager your greatest weakness is bullets. And number 2, definitely never bring Billy to a professional establishment.
It's an absolutely hilarious story, but it makes you think. We've all had those moments where our brain just short circuits under pressure. So I gotta ask, what's your bullets moment? What's the most spectacular way you've ever fumbled an interview?